Hey everybody, Willie G here. I filmed this video for my agents at my agency, and I have changed my sales approach and sales script quite a bit since I started in the business. I think the tactics and strategy now that I have and that I'm educating to my agents can realistically, I honestly, maybe even conservatively double conversion rates compared to an average sales script if you take it to heart and follow the methodology and the path. So thought I would just share it here. I'll just hop right into it. So enjoy. All right, y'all. Been listening to a lot of calls and I want to make some changes to the script. I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, things that we can do a lot better from the calls. So really at a high level, the objective of the presentation is there's really two key points in the presentation. So the first key point is one, you got to get the person on the phone and then get them on the phone, get their attention. And then the first critical point is converting them from hello, how are you to a can we get you a quote for final expense and burial coverage? So we have to transition. First critical point is getting an approval to go into the quote. And then the second critical point is getting an approval to go into the application. So those are usually where you'll get objections. Those are the biggest objection points. Once you get into them, we just need to get better at transitioning. We need to get better at getting into quotes better. And we need to get better at getting into apps faster and better. I'm going to streamline this a lot. I'm going to make a bit of changes from the script that we've had. So this is how the call will open. Hi, Sally. And then you'll wait for a reply. Yes, who's this? Hi, Sally. This is Willie. Obviously, say your name. You inquired looking for information. I know you get a lot of calls, so I'll be super quick. You inquired about the state the name of the state. So you inquired about the Alabama state-approved burial programs. Did you ever end up getting that taken care of? So regardless of how she replies to this, so this does one thing, it engages her, catches her off, does a little pattern interrupt. I'll be super quick, try to say it with a little spice in your voice if you can. You inquired regarding the Alabama state approved final expense and burial programs. Did you get that taken care of? We're looking for any type of reply, regardless of how Sally replies or whoever the prospect is. Doesn't matter if she says, I did get it taken care of, I did not get it taken care of, I don't remember requesting that, or I never filled anything out. Those are the most common answers to that question. Regardless of which one of these four it is, or if there's a different one, it does not matter what answer she provides here. So the transition is, oh, understood. So if she says, yes, great, oh, understood, totally understand. Well, just so you know, the state of Alabama approved burial programs, they're a little bit different than traditional insurance policies. They're designed to pay out within 24 to 48 hours, just in case your family needs to use the proceeds to cover for burial expenses. These programs are specifically designed for seniors on a fixed income, so they're more affordable than traditional insurance policies. The state of Alabama regulates these programs. So what this does, we have access to every carrier quote in the state. Can I get you a quick quote just to show you what the cost might be? Something brief like this, but the purpose of this is the hook. So the purpose of the opener is to get their attention and get them engaged. The purpose of the hook is to get them curious. So we're trying to get them, even if they have coverage or they say I got that handled last week, we're stating that this is a different type of program. So these are different than traditional insurance policies. So they think they got a traditional insurance policy. These programs, the state of Alabama regulates the programs. We have access to every quote. The state-approved programs are different than traditional insurance policies. They're specifically designed for seniors on a fixed income, so they're more affordable than traditional insurance policies. So we're piquing their interest. Oh, are these different programs with cheaper pricing than traditional insurance policies, which is probably what I got. So regardless if they have coverage, this will get their interest, getting their permission to go into the quote, to get them a quote. If you get their permission here, you'll get much less sales resistance while you're going through the quoting rather than just barreling into it because it's on their terms. They gave you the permission in the first place. So we have access to every carrier quote in the state. Can I get you a quick quote so that I can share you what the cost might be for these programs? Stop talking, wait for them to answer. Once you get the yes, then now you're in. Now you're over the first hump. So the first hump is selling them on getting them the quote. And then once you're into the quote, there's not going to be any resistance until you try to transition into the app. Everything will be smooth up until you transition to the app. So getting through hurdle number one. And then now I want to streamline this part. So there is no getting distracted, no wandering into different conversations, different things. One thing that we have been doing poorly is we're getting distracted having conversations about things that are totally irrelevant. We need to keep the call on track. Just keep it focused. Short opener, short transition into the quote right away. We're not dilly-dallying. We're not talking about their kids, their family, anything, their hobbies, anything. We're not doing that. We're getting right into the quote. And then when we're into the quote, we're streamlining it from here, making it a lot faster, straightforward. So once we get the approval that we can go into the quote, now we're gathering information. So normal information that we gather, this does not change. Date of birth, height and weight, smoker or non-smoker status, active checking or savings account. So this is, we're gathering this right away. We're plugging this into toolkits. And now here's where we streamline it a bit. So now we're going into health questions. We are getting very hung up on the health questions. We're digging far too much into prescriptions, underwriting. We're spending a lot of time here and we're losing people. So we need to keep this streamlined and on track. So question one, in the last 2 years, this is question number one. There's only 2 questions that we ask for health questions. No medications. I don't want to go through that. It's going to get you distracted. So question one, in the last 2 years, have you had any history of cancer, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, or COPD? These are the 5 most common diseases. So that's why we ask this. And then if yes, only one follow-up question. When was your last treatment for that? So when was your last treatment for the stroke? When was your last treatment for the heart attack? When was your last treatment for the cancer? Or when was the heart attack? Or when was the most treatment for the cancer? Or when was the stroke? When were you diagnosed with diabetes? When were you diagnosed with COPD? So that is all you ask. And then you plug that into toolkits. That's it. And then outside of the most common health conditions, question number 2 is just a catch-all. Any other health conditions to be aware of? Do you have any other major health conditions to be aware of? If they say blood pressure, cholesterol, don't worry about that. Thyroid, prostate, those things are not a big deal from the underwriting standpoint. If they say something like Alzheimer's, dementia, HIV, AIDS, you can plug whatever condition they tell you into toolkits, but this is the catch-all. Usually it's going to be one of these 5. If it's not one of these 5, maybe they'll have something minor, but you can plug it in. I don't want to dig into too much into medications because that's where we're getting sidetracked and we're losing people. If you want to discuss nuance to some of these, I'm happy to have a conversation and guide you through some of the nuances, but I want to keep this for almost everyone extremely simple. So we're not going to be asking about medications, doctors, specialists, surgeries, hospital visits in the initial underwriting. So here's a cheat sheet. So this is how, based on those 2 questions that we asked now, here's a cheat sheet on how we basically decide the carrier. So if they have a heart attack within the last 2 years, a stroke within the last 2 years, or a cancer treatment in the last 2 years, we're going to use a guaranteed issue carrier. So Corebridge is what we're using. If they have COPD, doesn't matter when it was diagnosed. You don't really need to ask when the COPD was diagnosed or treated. We're going to use Royal Neighbors or Balt Life. If they have diabetes with neuropathy or complications. So if they say yes to the diabetes, the follow-up question is, do you have any complications to the diabetes? That's it. And then if they do, Royal Neighbors or Baltimore Life are more, you can get day 1 coverage with those carriers. If they have diabetes but no neuropathy, which is the large majority of diabetes cases, you can still go Mutual of Omaha, America, or Aflac. So if they have diabetes, usually not a concern. If they have diabetes with complications, just ask, do you have complications? If they don't, then just try Mutual as the first stop. And then if they have no health conditions whatsoever, or they answer no to both of those questions, then Mutual of Omaha, America, Aflac, Aetna, it doesn't really matter. But these are the lowest cost carriers in most situations. So just try to get and they've got the best brand names. So I would use the best brand name and the lowest cost if they are healthy. So diabetes with no complications or healthy, and no to the rest of the questions, then Mutual of Omaha, America, Aflac, does not matter, Aetna, that's that. So really simple underwriting and a really simple process for deciding which carrier to quote. So with that in mind, now underwriting is done. So before we went through a lot of questions, now we're keeping it simple, straightforward. Now, after you ask those 2 basic questions, you know who that you're going to quote. You haven't shared it with the client yet, but set expectations. Okay, great. I just needed to verify that information. So just to set expectations, there's preferred pricing, standard pricing, and guaranteed pricing. Based on what you're sharing with me, I would try to get you preferred pricing, emphasis on the try. and because that's obviously the lowest cost pricing. Unless they are guaranteed issue, this is what you'll say. So unless they have a recent cancer, heart attack, stroke, this is what I would say. I like to cast a little doubt on this. I'll get into this more into the close, but I would try to get you preferred pricing based on what you've told me, because that's the lowest premium. So obviously that'll make sense to them. So now is the time to find the need. So after going through underwriting, explaining to them we're going to try to give them the best price. What's the reason for your coverage? So are you looking to cover for a burial, a cremation, or were you just looking to leave a little extra for your family? So this is the why. So understand the need. And then, okay, so you're looking for a burial. So most of our clients who are getting a burial, they're getting between 10, 20,000 in coverage. Is that in line with what you're looking for? Or if you're getting a cremation, most of our clients are getting 5 to 10,000. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Or about how much coverage are you looking for to get that taken care of? So then they'll give you a number. And if the expectations of the client are unrealistic, this is the time that you'll find that out. So if you know that they're age 80, male or female, and they're looking for 30,000 in coverage, it's going to be very expensive. So this is the point to say totally. So if they want $20,000 or more, and you know the premium is going to be high, so high is like $100 or higher, or 120 or higher, or 150 or higher, I would try to talk them down and downsell them a little bit. Oh, totally understand you want 20,000, or just so you know, most folks in your situation are looking for somewhere between 5 and 15,000. That's most of our clients are getting between 5 and 15,000. 20,000 would be a lot of coverage, just so you're aware. I can quote you for that. I'm just telling you it's a bit more than what most folks will get. So that's what I like to downsell them a little bit here if they have unrealistic expectations. So, and next is building credibility. So after you go through this, now it's time to rattle off and build brand recognition. Just so you're aware, the largest carriers for burial coverage in the state of Alabama, I always reference the state that they're in multiple times throughout the conversation. The state of Alabama are Mutual of Omaha, AIG, Aetna, Aflac, and there's several others. My job is just to find you which is the lowest cost. So that's what I'm going to quote you out here today. And then say, just so you're aware, there are a couple considerations to keep in mind. Carriers like Colonial Penn, a lot of the clients, for whatever reason, they have a bad taste in their mouth from Colonial Penn in general. So this is probably not going to be new information to them. A lot of them know this, some of them don't, but I like to just provide some knowledge and awareness. This helps you sound like the expert and also educates the client on the types of policies that there are out there. So just so you're aware, some companies like Colonial Penn, they have what's called a waiting period. So you're not actually covered for 2 full years. So that's not ideal for most of our clients. That educates them, builds trust, because you're explaining a 2-year waiting period up front. And then you're explaining that we're trying to get you immediate coverage here, just explaining what they need to watch out for. And then I like to add on other carriers like Globe Life or AARP, they can increase their premiums over time. So they can double or even triple over a certain period of time. So that's also not ideal for a lot of our clients. Everything I'm quoting you here today is level coverage, no waiting period, no premium increases, permanent coverage. Does that make sense? Just get their buy-in, make sure they understand everything. This part here is really just about building credibility and then sounding like the expert, sounding like you know everything about these programs in this state. And then now it's time to give the quote. So quote one carrier with just one coverage amount. So Mutual of Omaha, 10,000. If that's what the decision tree told you to do, Mutual of Omaha, 10, and they said they wanted 10,000, or they said they wanted 15,000. That's what you'll quote. So okay, so you mentioned you're looking for 10,000 in coverage. Lowest cost carrier in the state, just so you're aware, is Mutual of Omaha, and the coverage would be $47.82 a month. Does that fit your budget? Is that a good fit for your budget, or would you like me to quote you higher or lower? So I like to anchor one price and then ask them if that fits their budget, or if they would like them to get a quote for a higher coverage amount or lower coverage amount. So this helps you to figure out what their budget is and how much coverage that they want, or if this is just totally unrealistic for them in the first place. But this is where you handle pricing objections, because now you're going through the quote and you're going higher or lower. Before you get into the close, you want to handle the pricing objection. So this is the point where you do that. So continue adjusted coverage until you find something that's comfortable for them and you get the nod. Yeah, that might be good for me. They haven't committed yet, but they're like, yeah, that might make sense for me. So you still have to get them over the edge. So at this point, there's no resistance. You are pushing through underwriting. There's not yet a lot of resistance because you haven't asked for anything. You haven't asked for the application yet. So now it's time to go into the close. So once they are comfortable with the premium, say, great. Just so you know how this works, years ago, companies made everyone go through physical exams. Nowadays, the carriers make an instant decision in about a 5-minute application. So I like to downplay the time of the application, make it sound like it's very quick, easy, which it is if everything goes smooth. But we don't want this to be a big commitment. We're not trying to take up their whole afternoon or their whole morning. We want them to be like, this is quick. We're getting this done. We'll be in and out. You'll be done. You'll be on with your day. So nowadays, the carriers make an instant decision. It takes just 5 minutes. They'll verify your personal information. They'll go through health questions, verify payment information, and then they do what's called a HIPAA authorization. So they can review your prescription history. This just sets expectations for the application, tries to prevent objections later on because you're telling them up front there's going to be health questions, they're going to be verified payment information. So when we ask them for banking info later, they're not surprised. We told them up front. And then the HIPAA authorization, we're telling them. So when we ask for their social later, we'll be like, yeah, this is. Remember when I said the HIPAA authorization? Yeah, this is for the HIPAA. So that they can pull your prescription history and give an instant decision. That's how they do it these days. That's how it works. Then immediately they'll approve or decline the application. There's no risk in submitting the application because there's no payment required with it. We simply choose an effective date within 30 days. This de-risks the commitment. Hugely important to de-risk. The biggest question, and now it's time to cast a little doubt. The biggest question is whether we can actually get you preferred pricing, approved for preferred pricing. It's actually very challenging these days to get preferred pricing. They're extremely strict on the underwriting. I like to emphasize that they would be very lucky, and not many people do, because it is challenging to get preferred pricing with MU, Mutual of Omaha, Aetna. They're actually very challenging to get. Most people cannot, from my experience. It's very tough to get people approved, but we'll be able to find out here very quickly if we can get you preferred pricing, because that's the lowest rate that's available. So why don't we go ahead and see if we can get you approved and then reference the coverage amount that we got the verbal approval from. So why don't we see if we can get you approval for the $10,000 like we talked about? How does that sound? And then get their approval here. And now we're moving into the app. So once you get the confirmation, you can handle objections here that things might happen. They might, I need to talk to my family. I need to talk to my spouse. I mean, you just got to do the best that you can in handling those objections. From my experience, the objections are handled from the beginning of the entire presentation. You building credibility, you selling yourself, you sounding like the expert, you sounding like you have searched the entire market, that you've educated them, all this stuff. If you're getting objections after this point, it's hard to overcome them because everything should have been handled prior to this point. So do the best you can in handling them at this point. But if they're pushing back here, it's most likely a lost cause. Obviously, still try to push a little bit. Don't push too hard. I don't like to be that hard closer guy. But once you get that confirmation, does that sound good to you? They'll say yes, and then you'll be like, all right, great. What's your full legal name? Is it Donna Smith or Sarah Smith? Do you have any middle initial? Ask, confirm date of birth and your date of birth you gave me, and then mailing address. And what's your best mailing address if the policy is approved? And then write that stuff down and then transition into the app. Keep the conversation moving. Do not over underwrite. Do not ask unnecessary health questions. Quote quickly, requote if needed, start the app. If we follow this, we will dramatically improve conversions both into quotes. We'll get a lot more quotes. There's going to be way less dilly-dallying into the quotes, way less conversation in the first minute. Like, we need to stop doing that. We really do. And then we need to stay focused in underwriting, keep it streamlined. This whole presentation should feel extremely light. Meaning the client should be like, this is a really easy, simple process. Like, this is not a big commitment of time. Like, I don't need to sit down and spend hours a day doing this. This should feel quick, easy for them, not be a burden on their day. Just bam, bam, bam. I think if we focus on this script and being much more efficient with everything and streamlined with everything, we're just going to at least double our conversion rates. Wouldn't be surprised if even higher. So this is how I want to adjust going forward. I think we'll start getting into more apps a lot faster. So hopefully these are some good tips. Yeah, let's make it happen. Thanks.